Today, I'm going to try something impossible. It's something that I've seen on billboards, in the news, talked about quite a bit, and that is the Impossible Whopper. There's actually a patent that the Impossible Foods has, and one misconception I think that people have about the Impossible Whopper is that it's a healthy alternative. And by reading the patent, it's not a healthy alternative. What it is, and quote unquote the name of the patent, a ground meat replica. Sounds delicious. Allow me to read the abstract from the patent. So the Impossible Burger is a plant-based product that mimics ground meat, including the fibrousness, heterogeneity in texture, beefy flavor, and red to brown color transition during cooking of ground meat. That last one's kind of odd. I don't know why you would need that, but maybe it's something mental that you need to look at as you're cooking something like this. Like, for example, Pepsi Clear was an odd one, where it tasted just like normal Pepsi, but for some reason, because it didn't have the added coloring and it was clear, people mentally just didn't want it. And as I look through this patent for, again, a ground meat replica, when I search for the term health, hoping that something like healthy or healthier would come up, there's nothing. Let's try nutritional. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. I know another thing too about the Impossible Whopper is that it's cooked right next to normal Whoppers. I'm gonna get a normal Whopper. I found one thing interesting that someone told me was that growing up as a vegetarian on family road trips, there wasn't a lot of options for them to stop on the side of the road for food. Now that there's something like the Impossible Whopper, as a family, she's able to go and get the Impossible Whopper. And again, she's well aware it's cooked next to normal meat, but at least it gives her an option, which was a pretty interesting thought. I gotta say, this patent is insane. How many pages is this? I've never seen so many chemicals. To be honest, reading this patent, I almost don't want to eat it. But just because it's composed of a number of different chemicals that I can't even pronounce, doesn't necessarily mean that it's not terrible for you, because I'm not 100% sure what Burger King puts their actual meat. So first things first, what kind of brought this up was I was looking for my cheat meal, and I'm doing a big loop, riding my bike, and part of that loop, at the end of it, there's a Burger King. So it looked like it stopped raining out, and I'm gonna hop on my bike, go for it, and get some Burger King. This thing is crazy. It's just so many different chemicals. Just pages and pages and pages. All right, I gotta quit looking at it. Hey, this is kind of cool. Check this out. Getting ready for the Super Bowl down here. It's gonna be wild. You said Wes? Okay. Had an awesome bike ride. Beautiful day out, gloomy, but it's whatever. Always fun people watching around South Beach. But I got my Whopper. I got a single Impossible Whopper and then a double normal Whopper. So I was thinking before that it's not fair to compare the two because this is a replica and this is the real deal. But according to the patent, it needs to be compared. So I'm going to do the comparison against what Impossible Foods actually wanted to achieve. So here's the categories, and they come from the abstract of the patent. So what they're trying to achieve is mimic of ground meat. The categories are fibrousness, heterogeneity being diverse in its texture, beefy flavor, and red to brown color transition during cooking of ground meat. Now, I'm not actually doing the cooking. I'm just going to compare the color between actual ground meat of the Whopper and the Impossible Whopper. Okay, let's get a look at these bad boys. Goes on everything. Okay, so we're not going to go in the order listed because we need to look at it pre me taking a bite out of these things. Let's start with the red to brown color transition because that's visual. Kind of peeling back, and already visually looking at it, the Impossible Whopper is definitely definitely more of a compact patty than when I'm looking at the actual meat burger. Like, I would know visually looking at it that this is somehow a much more machine manufactured burger. I don't think that actually fits in one of the categories. You could definitely probably mess with this to look less uniform around the edges, but it's just the first thing that I noticed when I looked at these patties side by side. But as far as the first category we're looking at, red to brown color transition, I mean, they look pretty similar. I would say for that category, the Impossible Whopper for sure matches. Now, since I have them out open, the heterogeneity and texture, so it's going to be less uniform. So they could probably make this thing look super lab created by making it completely flat. And again, the sides do have somewhat of a giveaway, but it's kind of like those old cafeteria burgers that you would get in grade school. Those kind of had the same similar shape, I guess because they were kind of stamped out, and no telling what was in those things either. I'd say Impossible Foods gets a check mark for that one too. So the fibrousness, I think, is going to be something more when I'm eating it that I'm going to realize it. You know, I gotta say that wasn't as bad as I thought. I wouldn't say it's good or bad, but it's not bad. Okay, it was good that I had the Impossible Whopper first because this more flavorful, the fibrousness was there, really beefy, and for a fast food burger, because I never know what's actually in them, it tastes pretty good to the burgers I get when I buy the beef from the store and make it myself. That tastes like a good charbroiled burger. So this one's kind of a tough call. If I'm going to talk about fibrousness, which would be when I was actually chewing it, after eating the real meat, it broke apart a lot easier than the Impossible Burger. This one felt a lot more chewy. As far as fibrousness, 100% you could feel is the real deal. This one, what I'm struggling with is it good enough? Because again, it's a replica. It's gonna get half a check mark. If I were to just get the Impossible Burger, and for any number of reasons, maybe I'm trying to stay away from red meat, I'm a vegetarian, it gets you there. So for that, definitely half a check mark, but not full credit. And now for beefy flavor. This one's a tough one too. It kind of goes along with the fibrousness. I guess I gotta take another bite. It's hard. In this instance, the way I'm gonna evaluate the beefy flavor is, will getting the Impossible Whopper satiate the taste that I was craving for real beef? And in this instance, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna put an X for beefy flavor, only because it doesn't taste like beef. It's something different. If I was craving whatever this taste is, it's close, but it's not there. And the last bite, I took a bite off the edge, and I could feel more of it being something that seems sliced off something. So I'd say that's the most fair evaluation of the Impossible Whopper versus an actual Whopper, only because that's the patent that Impossible Foods filed. Those were the categories that they were trying to achieve. Fibrousness, heterogeneity in its texture, beefy flavor, the red to brown color transition. And overall, they got 2.5 out of 4. So that's not bad. I'm sure in the future that there's going to be improvements on this food technology, but for now, I'd say it's not there. But if someone stays away from red meat or you're vegetarian, I'm not going to say vegan because they definitely cook this thing on the same grill that this bad boy was cooked on. It could get you there. All right. Well, I'm going to finish this bad boy and go on with my day. If you like it, hit that like button, subscribe, comment. If there's anything else you'd want me to evaluate as far as patents, intellectual property, please let me know. Time to eat. Later.